4, most of these runners can most probably run a bit quicker than him, but he might have the box draw factor here by able to hold the front. And if he can do that, I can see why the money's come from him.
100%. Tim Zoo, obviously a big winner of the box draw of Sky Racing 1. Get back on board with us as we're building up to the second of the Group 1s this evening, being the Harrison Dawson for the boys. Corey Smith is in the parade yard. Let's get to him for the latest ahead of the second of the Group 1s tonight.
Grab the best host I've ever seen on grey areas, Luke Thompson. Luke, 3 runners in a Group 1, not unusual for the Thompson kennel, but always exciting.
Yeah, 100%. They're the races you want to be in, so it's good when you have one in it, let alone 3. So hopefully one of them can have a bit of luck.
We'll start with Tim Zoo, drawing down near the inside. Definitely a positive for him.
100% when he draws close to the fence. He's that's where he does his best work, when he's on the inside of dogs and close to that rail. So usually jumps a little bit cleaner as well from those boxes. So hopefully he can do that.
And Field Day, who's standing next to you right now, he's a ripping sort of dog. And we saw what he could do in the Phoenix match race where he went toe-to-toe with Tim Zoo for a hell of a long way. Are you expecting him to be able to show his best from box 3?
Well, hoping so. He's one of those dogs you just don't know what you're going to get at box rides with him. If he gets it right, he's as fast as any dog going round. But we don't see that too often, but hopefully he can get it right tonight.
And the family dog, Flying Zulu, went down by the barest of margins in this race last year. You're hoping he can atone for that?
Oh, it'd be tough for him from the box draw, just the way that it is with the dogs drawn around him. If he gets into the race, it'd be really good, yeah, being that we own him. But he's just a really consistent dog that he always shows up in these races.
And 3 runners, can you point us into one that you're a little bit more confident with, or you think they're all ready to run a big race?
They're all primed. They're all had a good week this week. If just at the odds, probably be this bloke. But Tim Zoo, yeah, he's our best chance for sure.
All right, well, good luck to Luke Thompson. Good luck to the whole Thompson team. And good luck to the whole Harrison Dawson field. It is an absolute ripper, boys. And I can't wait for it.
It's going to be a belt to Smithy, no two ways about that. Nathan Rooney, the pressure's going to be on, as it was intensely in the Sapphire Crown. Who lands on top?
I went 2, 1, 5 and 4. I think Tim Zoo, has the box draw factor here. He might be able to settle just behind the speed. I can see Van Wyck nearly holding the front here and posting a few of the speed runners up the track, and that might give Tim Zoo the cold drop hard against the fence. We know how strong he is. He might get his opportunity to win another Group 1, the Harrison Dawson here. I'll put Van Wyck in for second. He's had a bit of long odd support. I think he holds the key with box 1. He's got enough early speed to hold his rivals up the track. He can dictate from the front. He might not be the quickest dog in this race, but he has the box draw to make his presence felt. For third, I put in number 5, Morton. I think box number 5's okay for this grey, and he runs in a pretty straight line. He's starting to get back to the Morton of old. For 4th, number 4, Mapunga Reward. He's the strongest dog in this event. He's going to need a little bit of luck from box 4, and if he can get the luck, he's going to be closing hard late. 2, 1, 5 and 4 in what looks to be a great edition of the Harrison Dawson final.
Great edition and much more of an open market than what we saw in the Sapphire Crown. But as we also learned in the Sapphire, anything's possible. The Group 1 Harrison Dawson for 2025, here's Dan Hibbert.
Field Day ran second to Morton in 29.38. And then it's $10 for Wyong Dallas, who won in 29.68, and Flying Zulu ran second to Mapunga Reward in 29.33. It is a very competitive betting race. 3.10 the favourite, $11 for the outsider Flying Zulu, who's won 8 of 19 here and 26 of 54. It is a cracking field and a good betting race. Many, many chances. They could all win it without surprising. This is the Sportsbet Harrison Dawson. The favourite for the final will be the 2 in the stripes, Tim Zoo. The green light is turned on and the lure rolls for the Group 1 Harrison Dawson 2025. Sets racing. Speed out deep from Deadly Avenger, and Flying Zulu's carving across. Flying Zulu found the front. Wyong Dallas got a great run over to second. Deadly Avenger was third. Tim Zoo to the outside. They're punching up. Then Van Wyck on the inside. Mapunga Reward. Field Day second last. Morton last. Flying Zulu the leader. Deadly Avenger behind it. Wyong Dallas was next. Around the turn, Flying Zulu. Deadly Avenger is coming down the outside. Flying Zulu kicks. Flying Zulu. Flying Zulu a length over Deadly Avenger. Mapunga Reward roared home at the finish. Tim Zoo 4th. Field Day 5th. Then Van Wyck, Morton, Wyong Dallas at the rear. 29 and 17. That's another one for Team Thompson. Flying Zulu the winner.
Undoubtedly the most successful and most powerful kennel in the game for not only the past 12, 18, 24 months, They picked up another Group 1 Harrison Dawson with Flying Zulu landing straight to the top. Nathy found himself exactly where he wanted to be, and he's gone on to get the job done.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks he's really started to nail the start again. He ran 5:01 off an inside draw at Sandown a couple of weeks ago and 29.4, and then 5:07 last week. Done a lot of bullocking work for Mapunga Award on that occasion and was just run down late. He ran 29.33. Tonight he's been able to get across unimpeded off box 7, which he's better suited near an inside draw, Jace, but he just rewound the clock a little bit and was able to carve over the speed, and in doing so he dragged Wyong Dulles across with him, and Deadly Avenger showed really good speed and wanted to punch up hard the fence, but he was able to dictate from the front, 29.16, and he's a greyhound that just keeps measuring up time after time, and he was able to get that clean, unimpeded run early, and that was the making of the race. So another Group 1 to Team Thompson, even though it was most probably their third stringer. He didn't know that, and he led from go to woe.
And takes his prize money to a tick, under $1 million. Corey Smith with Shona Thompson.
I am with Shona Thompson, and Shona, we were just talking and we were discussing that maybe he was coming in as a third stringer. You didn't think he'd be able to get across, but he showed that blistering early speed that he's shown for a hell of a long time now.
He has. It feels like forever, Corey. He talk about an old marvel. I mean, not that, you know, that he's old, but you know, this time last year he was heading off to Brisbane for the Brisbane Cup, and to come out and win a Group 1 now, unbelievable.
Well, you spoke about this time last year, and he was in the Harrison Dawson last year, and he was beaten by a very, very small margin by Stormy Day, but he's managed to atone for that here.
Yeah, we were saying that earlier this week. You know, last year was his year, and that didn't eventuate. And when the box draw came out, I thought it was the other two were drawn beautifully, and thought, you know, if he can somehow be up there and just have a little bit of luck, you know, he might run into a placing. But to see him come out and cross the field like that, yeah, I'm blown away.
It's always special to win Group 1s, and you've been lucky enough to win plenty of them, but to be able to do it when your two of your kids are handling the dogs, and you get to have that moment post-race after the family dog who's going to be living on your couch when he retires, that's got to just be an extra special moment.
Oh, look, it is. I was walking out, you know, from the parade yard and see Luke and Holly walk out. It's really special. You know, Jason and I normally sit at home and watch this, so to see them both walk out and then to be able to celebrate with them after the race, it's very special.
Absolutely. Well, you go and enjoy it. Flying Zulu is going to be the Thompson family pet, and he's going to deserve the cuddles he gets tonight. Thanks, Shona.
Thanks, Corey. Thank you.
There we go. Flying Zulu atones for last year's loss, and he wins another Group 1, this time the Harrison Dawson.
Well, the biggest win of his career has been the Brisbane Cup, and he adds another big scalp to his resume, taking out the Harrison Dawson. He's been a greyhound, Nath, where you can look at his form and sometimes be fooled into thinking it fluctuates. But then you remind yourself, the field he's going around in just about week after week, and the draws, of course, dictate a lot of the way those races play out.
Yeah, exactly right. And he's a greyhound when he can get to the front, Jason, dictate, he can run time. And he's really, the last month, most probably got the start right again. He had a period of time where he was just beginning moderately, but he's got that back again. He's really nailed the start, and he's done it off wide draws, and he's been able to carve across. And tonight, in this sort of race with a really even speed map and a really even Harrison Dawson, he was able to get to the front off the unsuitable wide draw. And when you do that, you make your own luck, and we know how fast he is and how much ability he's got. And when he was able to find the top, he was going to make it hard for his opposition to pick him up, and 29.16 on the clock, and he just keeps getting better. He keeps buttering up, as you said, week in, week out against the best greyhounds Australia-wide, and win, lose or draw, he always holds himself in high regard and does a wonderful effort every time he graces a track.
We're blessed in this game to often have the stars go against each other, but sometimes, Smithy, these greyhounds get out to big odds who go very well themselves. Flying Zulu at double-figure odds. It just looks strange visually, doesn't it?
Well, is he just shy of $1 million or something? So he's gone very, very close to it, and he's been a dog that's been so good for so long. He came into the sport with big raps. I think he was trialling really fast times prior to his first racetrack start. Went into a Melbourne Cup series after only a couple of race starts, and Jason Thompson obviously had a massive opinion of the dog, and he's just gone from strength to strength, and he's probably lost form at certain times, but then he comes around and when the big races are on, he turns it on and manages to win himself another Group 1.
If my very extraordinary mathematics is correct, he's $105 short of $1 million.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it? You think of the $1 million earners in our sport. Obviously, that gets skewed a little bit with Phoenix winners, with $1 Million Chase winners, but he's done it the hard way. He hasn't won either of those, and he's gotten right to that figure. And you'd imagine his next start out, he'd crack that $1 million, and that's a fair feather in his cap.
Yeah, and deservedly so. Like you said, he hasn't won the $1 million races to get that million next to his name, but what he's been able to do is just butter up and be competitive week in, week out against, country cups, group races, the best of the best week in, week out. If there's a big race feature on, it's not surprised to see Flying Zulu win it and then be more than competitive throughout the heat and the final. And he deserves that $1 million, and he done everything right off an unsuitable wide draw to win a Group 1 tonight.
Well, you touched on that he does it any distance, sort of any time, 1 turn, 2 turns. He's a very good dog. His last win came in a Horsham Cup over the 485. He'd run some really nice races in defeat since then, and then he comes out on the biggest of stages, and Jason Thompson trains another Group 1 winner. It just, I feel like I've said that a million times in the last 18 to 24 months.
And some words on the Beaten Brigade boys. I mean, Tim Zhu was threatening. He just could never find the rail, always looking for runs around other greyhounds. Deadly Avenger, tough as nails, and Mapunga Reward ran on well as we expected.
I actually think Mapunga Reward, I need to rewatch the replay, but on first look, looked like it was the run of the race. I think if he had got a little bit more luck, he probably would have had a real crack at winning the race. And we touched on the training performance of Jeff Britton to get this dog back to the races. He broke a hock in that launching pad series just over 12 months ago, and he's raced over 680 metres, dropped back down, and now he's run a massive race, running third in a Group 1 Harrison Dawson. He's just a freak of a dog, a proper animal is Mapunga Reward. And speaking of proper animals, Deadly Avenger, another really good race in a Group 1, Nath.
Yeah, an unsuitable wide draw for Deadly Avenger. Most probably had to work overtime to get across. He's racing in superior form, Deadly Avenger. He only has to draw inside, to nearly win this race again tonight. And Mapunga Reward is back to what Mapunga Reward was 12 months ago. There's always just a question with the greyhound because he doesn't have that tactical speed of most Group 1 races, but he's going to be luck reliant and box draw reliant on how he can get into the race. But if he gets that clear unimpeded run, the way he ran through the line here tonight in the time that they've run is nothing less than phenomenal, and that's just backed up by the 29.06 heat win when he used box 8 to perfection. So he's had a lot of time on the sidelines, but he's getting some racing and fitness back into him, and hopefully the next 6 to 12 months will be very fruitful for not only Jeff Britton but Barry Smith and Mapunga Reward in the races moving forward.
Smithy, the natural target for a lot of these greyhounds would be straight to the Sunshine State, I assume.
And I tell you what, feeling my hands right now that are rather cold, I don't blame them. I wouldn't mind going up there, but it's going to be a ripping race, that Brisbane Cup. Having it at the Q2, which we're actually seeing a race go around there at the moment, it looks like it's fantastic, and every dog gets their opportunities there, and they're going to get some serious talented greyhounds from down here in Victoria heading up and enjoying the warm weather and racing against each other once again, which us greyhound nuffies really, really like to see. It
looks a fantastic track and establishment that they're building there at the Parklands, and there's no doubt that I think this track will really suit Mapunga Reward. It looks like you can get out, get open and make good ground. It looks very clean racing, and it looks a really nice track for all greyhounds to get their ability, to show their ability and get a clean run in transit. So no doubt Mapunga Reward will be heading up there. No doubt Flying Zulu, Tim Zhu, most of these runners you would imagine will be heading up north to contest the rich features up there in the coming weeks and months.
Just quickly on the queue, they've made the rule where you have to trial the dog before they're allowed to go in the race. I personally absolutely love it from a trainer's point of view, Nath. It's probably a little bit annoying. We've admired the likes of a Pillar who have come here first look, and we've spoken about it ad nauseum tonight. But for me, I think to give punters the opportunity to know that the dogs have been there, that they've seen this brand new track, that they've gotten around safely and going into a race not blind, I think that can only be a positive for the upcoming series.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it was quite a smart move by Jason Sharp to get up there nice and early with Colac, Kidd and Morton in preparation, knowing that role. And it just makes it a little bit tough on time restrictions for trainers to get up there and then get back, and it's a little bit on the interstate dogs that don't stay up there. If you're going up there and you want to come back and base yourself at home, it makes it a little bit tough, but it's an interesting rule, and at least as a form student, you get to see the dogs, see how they handle the dogs, see how they handle the track and handle the conditions, the flight up there, and you get all of them factors in, and it makes it a little bit easier to know what they can run around that new track. But it's a different little rule, and that's one that they've implemented, and no doubt a lot of these runners will be getting up there in the next week or two to have a look in preparation.
You obviously can wear the trainer hat, you can wear the owner hat, the punter hat, the pundit hat. Patch, as an administrator, you obviously spent a long time at Clubland. How do you think that would have been received if it was brought in here in Victoria?
That interstaters have the trial here?
All dogs.
No, I absolutely love it, because I really was confused when they removed performance trials in New South Wales. Mainly for the fact, and I mean, it's great from a promotional point of view to have these stars race, and we know online, Smithy, I mean, as much as you can't bet on it. I mean, the interest in solo trials from stars goes through the roof.
Oh, well, we see it running social media pages that the most impressive numbers that we get are generally trial information and trial stories and trial videos. So it can definitely be capitalised in that sense.
Yes.
But at the same time,